2013, Warner Bros. Released Man of Steel, a Superman film where Superman kills someone. In 2016, they released Batman vs. Superman, where the world's greatest hero is so morally compromised that Batman tries to murder him. Between 2010 and 2024, Marvel published dozens of stories where Captain America is revealed to be a secret fascist, a Hydra agent, or morally compromised in some previously undisclosed way. We have spent 15 years systematically deconstructing, subverting, and destroying every virtuous hero we've ever created. And now, quietly, desperately, audiences are starving for someone, anyone, who is simply uncomplicatedly good. And we can't give it to them because we've forgotten how.
Winston, you're really telling me that after decades of grim, dark antiheroes and deconstructed Superman stories, where him basically turned into some fascist god, people finally realize them actually missed the Boy Scout? The one who just saved people because it right. That the least shocking cultural revelation since people figure out fast food make you feel awful after? Of course people miss heroes, Winston. Them been drowning in nihilism for 20 years straight.
The surprise isn't that people miss the heroes' tombs. The surprise is that the industry can't deliver them anymore, even when they try. The machinery that creates virtuous protagonists has atrophied so completely that modern writers literally do not know how to write a good person without making them boring, naive, or secretly corrupt. We've pathologized virtue itself. The traditional hero followed a simple template. They had power. They used it to help people. They made sacrifices without expecting reward. Superman saved people because saving people was right. Spider-Man bore responsibility because with great power came great responsibility. Captain America stood for ideals where even America didn't. These weren't complex characters. They were aspirational. They represented what we could be if we tried harder. And then, beginning around the mid-2000s, the industry decided this was naive. The turning point is often traced to the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman became morally compromised, willing to torture, willing to surveil entire cities. The films were successful and convinced Hollywood that audiences wanted realism over traditional heroism, but Batman was always dark. The problem came when studios applied that template to everyone else. Superman needed to be dark now. Spider-Man needed to be conflicted. Every hero needed to be deconstructed, revealed to be flawed or hypocritical or complicit.
Hold on now, Winston. There's nothing wrong with complex characters, you know. Heroes having flaws make them relatable. You can't tell me audiences want cardboard Boy Scouts with no personality. That's not realism.
Realism isn't the same as cynicism, Toombs. A hero can have doubts and still choose good. The issue isn't that modern heroes have complexity, it's that their complexity has become an excuse to dismantle virtue entirely. We've conflated nuance with morally compromise. Man of Steel presents Superman killing Zod as a tragic necessity, a hard choice, but Superman's entire point is that he finds another way. That's what makes him Superman, but modern storytelling decided that's naive. So Superman kills, and the film treats it as maturity. Deconstruction became the dominant mode. Writers were taught that subverting expectations was more important than fulfilling them, that taking something pure and revealing it to be corrupt was sophisticated, while maintaining purity was childish. The Boys became a phenomenon by showing superheroes as narcissistic corporate puppets. Invincible gained acclaim by revealing the Superman figure was secretly a tyrannical invader. These are good stories, well crafted, but they're all asking, what if heroes were actually bad? And that became the only question anyone asked. In comics, Captain America was viewed as a Hydra agent, not by mind control. The initial story presented it as his true history. This wasn't a villain's plan. It was presented as Captain America was always secretly a Nazi.
No, Winston. That not complexity. That vandalism. That taking the one thing the character stand for and just light it on fire for shock value. What that teach readers, eh? That nothing good is real? That everything them believe in is just some lie?
Exactly. And that's the message audiences absorbed for thousands of stories. Every deconstructed hero communicated, goodness is a lie. Heroism is performance. Anyone who appears virtuous is either naive or hiding something. Watch how younger audiences discuss traditional heroes. They describe Superman as boring because he's too perfect. They find Captain America preachy They prefer Deadpool, Wolverine, heroes who kill, who compromise. This isn't accidental. They've been taught that virtue is unsophisticated, that moral clarity is simplistic. This isn't just about fiction. Stories shape how we understand the world. They provide models for behavior. When every model is someone who compromises their values, who survives by being cynical, you learn that virtue is not only unrealistic, but actively disadvantageous. Younger generations report higher levels of cynicism, lower trust in institutions, lower belief that individual action can create positive change. They're more likely to describe altruism as performative, more likely to assume anyone doing good publicly is doing it for clout.
So after 20 years of telling people heroes not real, everybody corrupt, virtue just performance, we surprised a whole generation actually believe it? Winston, if people can't even imagine somebody being good without some hidden agenda, how them supposed to practice goodness themselves? We're the model, man.
There isn't one, and that's the crisis. Humans need aspirational figures. We need examples of what we're capable of at our best. Children especially need heroes. People who consistently choose to do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when we stopped providing them. Even children's media has absorbed this. Shows that once featured straightforward heroes now feature protagonists who lie, manipulate, prioritize self-interest, and it's framed as character growth. But what it teaches children is that trying to be consistently good is unrealistic. Then something strange happened. Projects featuring traditional heroism began succeeding in ways that surprised the industry. Top Gun: Maverick became one of the highest grossing films of all time because Maverick is a straightforward hero who sacrifices for his students. The film believes in honor, duty, and doing the right thing without irony. Spider-Man: No Way Home made nearly $2 billion. The moment that made audiences cry wasn't the multiversal aspect. It was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man stopping Tom Holland from killing. The older, traditional hero reminding the younger one that heroes don't kill. That's what people were crying about. And in anime, All Might from My Hero Academia became a cultural phenomenon not because he's complex or morally gray, but because he's unambiguously good. He sacrifices his health, his power, his life to save people and inspire the next generation. When he finally loses his power, audiences worldwide wept. Not because of spectacle, but because genuine heroism had become so rare that watching it felt precious. The success of these projects revealed something. Audiences are exhausted. They want to believe goodness is possible, that people can be virtuous without being naive, that doing the right thing matters. People describe these moments as healing, cathartic, what I needed, as if simple virtue is medicine. And it is. They've been consuming cynicism for so long that basic optimism feels revolutionary. But the industry doesn't know how to respond. When announcing their new Superman film, they emphasized hopeful and optimistic, as if these are unusual for Superman. And notice the caveat, but not naive. They can't commit to heroism without hedging, even without trying to give audiences what they're starving for. They can't fully commit. And here's what we've lost: the belief that virtue is achievable. The model of how to be good in a complicated world. The assurance that doing the right thing, even when it costs you, even when no one's watching, matters. These characters weren't unrealistic, they were aspirational. They showed us what we could be if we tried, and we spent 2 decades teaching audiences that aspiration is childish.
The saddest part? People want these heroes back. The box office prove it plain as day. But the industry is so addicted to cynicism that even when them try to deliver a proper hero, them still undermine it. Because somewhere along the line, we decide believing in goodness make you foolish.
And that decision is costing us the shared culture language of virtue. And when children grow up without heroes, without models of people who consistently choose good, they don't learn that virtue is complicated. They learn that virtue is fictional. The hero famine isn't just an entertainment problem, it's a moral infrastructure problem. We've spent decades dismantling the cultural mechanism that taught people what heroism looks like. And now we're surprised people don't know how to recognize it or practice it. The hunger is real. Audiences are desperate for heroes. They'll cry at the mere suggestion that someone might be good without qualification. The bad news is that the industry has forgotten how to create them. Writers who've spent careers deconstructing virtue don't know how to reconstruct it. We're starving for something we've forgotten how to grow. So here's my question to the audience. Think about the last story you've consumed, where the hero was simply, uncomplicatedly good, where they didn't have a dark secret, where they just chose to do the right thing because it was right. Did you find them boring? Did you find them unrealistic? Did you find yourself waiting for the twist, for the moment they'd be revealed as naive, or compromised, or secretly villainous? Because if you did, you've been trained. And the question is, trained for what?
Me think Superman saving a cat from a tree more interesting than another story about how power corrupts. But maybe that just because me tired. So very, very tired.
We all are Tombs. That's the point. But these are just my observations.